Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs on side watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after two judges denied his request for bail.
Diddy has reporting that due to his celebrity status and the allegations, this could bring unwanted attention from other inmates and be a threat to Diddy.
What we've been told by a former warden is he's a target. That gets you score points with other inmates. So that's a situation that obviously the jail officials do not want to happen.
Now we know Diddy is in so much trouble that he can't possibly escape this time. Either the elite that conspired against him will take his life, or he will live out his life in prison. Both of those options don't appeal to him, and that's exactly why Gene Deal predicted Diddy would take his own life a while ago.
And spend your life and your time helping men like yourself. Once you take care of your business and get on your knees and beg for Ms. Wallace's forgiveness for putting the notorious Big in that situation that he lost his life.
Can you do that?
Well, see, if I'm in the car with Kirk Burrows and him and our driver, and we go down to 26 Federal Plaza, I know 26 Federal Plaza is the FBI office. All right? Now, what they went down there and what paperwork they took down there, I did not know until I found out later that he was working with an agent in DC, but he was arrested by an agent in New York. But I can't go into it, and the reason I can't go into it is because another individual found out this information and it's owed to him. But when Fox News and everybody say they can't find out who the agent is, that's bullshit. It's online. If you got certain systems that you can find out who the agent is, because we found out who the agent is, but it's not my story to tell. I would tell you that, brother, but it's not my story to tell. It belongs to somebody else, and they're gonna see it come out. Puff was hit with a 40 rule because it's called a Rule 40, because he didn't show up at the agent's office in DC. The New York agent arrested him. He got adjudicated of all charges in January of 1999.
But now there are bombshells coming out about how Diddy was always a snitch.
Let's bring in criminal defense attorney Stacey Schneider. And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise, and they actually named it in the indictment, the Combs Enterprise. And they said that this enterprise consisted of him as the alleged leader, his employees, assistants, staff, allegedly, that were able to procure women and alleged male sex workers to engage in performances for his own sexual gratification. Where it differs from a mob indictment, it has all the elements of putting together this racketeering allegation of all these moving pieces using resources from his businesses. But the fact that this is about an allegation of sexual gratification being accomplished by alleged human trafficking. It's one of the most unique indictments I've ever seen in this area, in the area of sex crimes, because the government isn't actually prosecuting crimes other than the human trafficking or the sex trafficking. They're not prosecuting any type of alleged sexual abuse to women, although that's part of this racketeering scheme.
Given that he's the sole defendant in this case and that you allege he's part of a conspiracy that involves members of his companies, do you anticipate a superseding indictment that will bring allegations against other members of his companies or other co-conspirators as well?
Again, I can't take anything off the table. Anything is possible. Our investigation is very active and ongoing. And I think a lot of you who cover this office know that when we say such things, that developments are certain.
And how he is going to turn in big celebrity friends who were part of his horrifying crimes in order to get a better sentence.
Speaking on it right now, he'll be one of the first dudes that they'll probably pull to the side and say, yo, well, you say that your man, I heard you on TMZ said that he never did this and he never did that, but ain't this you? If those pictures or those films or anything like that exist. You know what I'm saying? That's what they pay those agents to do. So, of course, I don't believe that none of the people who or his celebrity friends is gonna speak or say nothing until they're either contacted or they know what they really got.
So you feel like they might be worried that they might be on tape at one of Diddy parties doing something they wasn't supposed to be doing?
But how will the feds indict other celebrities by arresting Diddy? Well, the thing is, part of the evidence that was seized at Diddy's mansion were videotapes of his freak-off parties that he happened to record for blackmail purposes. Here's Gene Deal talking about how these tapes could be key evidence months ago.
Man, listen here. All those ones who made it to the Diddy party, to the after party, and to the hotel lobby, they not gonna ruin their brand. They not gonna say nothing. Man, I was watching the other day, listen to me. They did that, they on Channel 2 News here in New York. Gayle King and Nate and that other guy, they were talking about, they showed him beating Cassie, and they showed him the apology in the whole 9 yards. All they said is that we have commentary about that, but we got to go to a commercial. They never came back and said nothing about it. I was like, yo, damn. He still got power like that? Somebody still like him like that? Because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole crew. They want to know how we're going to do it, how the public is going to take him. Is the public going to let him back in? And the public is not. The public is already canceling him.
That means big names like JayZ, Rick Ross, and Nas could all be under fire from prosecutors. But will they let him expose them?
Diddy Combs has been denied bail in connection with the sexual abuse and trafficking charges he faces. And as Les Trent reports, the music mogul who once traveled by private jet to all those mansions is now in a jail that is notorious for its bad living conditions.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs spent his first night behind bars inside a facility that is being called Hell on Earth. The Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn is notorious for its appalling living conditions and rampant violence. How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here. Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, spent a harrowing year in federal custody. He says for someone used to a life of luxury like Diddy, prison life is a severe shock.
You have a desk, you have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
Diddy's lawyers were so eager to keep him out of jail, they offered his palatial $48 million home in Miami Beach and his private jets as bail. Today, they are even offering to restrict female visitors to his homes, except for his mother, daughters, and the mothers of his children if he is released. They told the judge the jail he was being sent to is dreadful, dirty, inhuman.
Sean Diddy Combs has reportedly been placed on suicide watch, sparking concern as he awaits trial in Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC. The once powerful music mogul was arrested earlier this week on serious charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering. MDC has a reputation for being a tough place, and many are wondering what this means for Diddy as he faces his legal battles.
Call them modest get-togethers, others hedonistic romps. For the next 53 seconds, we'll take an in-depth look inside Diddy parties.
Diddy once threw a party on a jet flying around the world. Now, it started on a Tuesday and somehow ended on the previous Sunday. I don't know how he did that.
Now that I'm engaged, I've decided to slow down a little. 3 Diddy parties a week. Maybe 4. Well, not including the weekends.
Boy, I remember one day we went to this Diddy party. Well, what happened? Lil Jon forgot his pimp cup. Yep. D-Rock went to Diddy and asked if he had a pimp cup Lil Jon can borrow.
Man, he had a whole bunch of pimp cups.
He had a pimp set.
It's hard to say which is more off the hook, a Diddy party or a Diddy after party, or a Diddy after party, which is basically a pre-party for the next Diddy party.
The Diddy party legend continues tonight at 8 p.m.
Amid Diddy's ongoing legal drama, an old video of celebrities raving about his infamous parties has resurfaced on social media, sparking new conversations. In the clip, stars like Fat Joe and Nicole Richie talk about attending Diddy's legendary bashes, which were known for their exclusivity and wild nature.
About the searches of his residence, the guns, the cases of lubricant, and the videos. Where were they found amongst his residence? Were they all scattered around the houses in one place? I kind of wanted to just get a better picture of how that stuff was found.
Well, look, I think that some of the details that you're seeking are in the detention letter. So, for instance, some of the AR-15s, 2 of the 3 defaced AR-15s were found in his bedroom closet in Miami, broken down into parts, along with magazines, with ammunition loaded in them. So some of that detail is in the detention letter. Beyond that, I'm not going to be able to get into where other items were stored. It alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more abuse. The indictment also alleges other acts of violence undertaken by Combs and others, including violence against witnesses to his kidnapping and arson. The indictment alleges that on more than one occasion, Combs carried or brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten victims and witnesses. Now, Combs did not do this all on his own. As I mentioned, Combs has been charged with RICO conspiracy. He used his business and employees of that business and other close associates to get his way. Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff. The indictment alleges that those individuals facilitated the freak-offs. They booked the hotel rooms and stocked them with the supplies, including drugs, baby oil, personal lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. When the hotel rooms got damaged, they helped clean it up. They arranged for victims and commercial workers to travel for the freak-offs, and they delivered large quantities of cash to Combs.
Though the celebs didn't spill any juicy details, Diddy's parties have long been rumored to be over the top, with only A-list guests invited. These gatherings were once the talk of Hollywood, but with Diddy now facing criminal charges, those same events are being looked at with a lot more scrutiny.
For that proffer agreement, they probably let him walk. If he had any information regarding Puff having sex with underage boys, that the feds asked him in 2011. In 2011, brother. So what did the feds know? Because the feds not coming there unless somebody made a report or somebody made some allegations against Puff in 2011 to ask a friend of his, Jimmy Henchman, what do you know about that? But for them to ask him about that, it had to be more than a rumor. Somebody made a complaint somewhere. And the feds got hold to that complaint. Now they're going to investigate that complaint when they get people under the...
Let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life.
I was a victim of a shooting that night in the club, December 27th, 1999, in the face by Sean Puffy Combs. I was an innocent bystander. There's this notion online, what you did to make him do? Nothing. But not that I or anybody deserved it. I was an innocent bystander, but I am a survivor.
Something about a Diddy party right now, but I don't know the rules of the game if I'm allowed to say it.
Say it. You'll be okay.
One of my boys, a social media influencer, this was early, back in like 2008.
What's one of your boys?
I'm not gonna expose him because he said some viable shit, but he was at a Diddy party and they invited him to Diddy's room. He walks in, Trey Songz was sitting on Diddy's lap making out with him, and they asked him if he wanted to join.
What the Gotta be, no, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
They're all undercover gang.
In the, I guess, at the studio that time, they said that it was a drive-by. This is what the little girl, not a little girl, I'm sorry about that. Her name is Tiffany Red. Just what she was speaking about on her thing, bro. She was saying, like, in order to get in that studio, you got to be buzzed in about 3 or 4. You got to get buzzed in 2 or 3 times. There's no blood coming from the outside to the inside. He got pictures. I saw the pictures. He got pictures of all the blood and everything in the bathroom. He took pictures, bro. Now, Diddy is messing with an investigation of a shooting. If he told people to lie and tell the cops that it was a drive-by, and then he had people that he had hired, the people that he knew that was cops and there's friends of his that came in, that talked to the people, that's instruction. No, was it instruction? He's instructing of justice when he's trying to interfere with an investigation. He could be charged with that because nobody was ever found in the shooting. So that case could still be open because that kid was shot. Obstruction of justice, that's what it is. He obstructed justice because whoever shot that kid in the bathroom, well, it was Justin or Diddy. One of them did it because 3 of them went in the bathroom together. G, Justin, and Diddy. One got shot. Unless the kid gonna say he shot himself. But Diddy still obstructed justice because he had everybody, he told the people in the studio, he told all the people, and he lied and paid everybody off to lie. He probably paid the guy off who got shot and said, yo, man, listen here, take this money and say that it was a drive-by. So if the DA wanted to get him on something, that's enough right there. That's a criminal act. That's an open case. But the police know it's a lie anyway. You know why?
Why's that?
Any of those studios, anybody that have insurance on a facility have to have surveillance cameras a certain amount of feet away from your facility. So if it was a drive-by, they would have to go to the videotape and the surrounding videotape. So they knew that was a lie. But because he had the money and he had the cop, for the sake of Kim's family, because bruh, if you know what I know, he put Kim in a gold casket, then had security, 24-hour security at the funeral home, so nobody would go in there and touch the casket or take Kim out of there. I think that they should reopen our case and have an independent pathologist look at everything about her so she can rest in peace. So I know people, paperwork, and this other young lady on the internet, they are spearheading the reopening of Kim's case. And I hope they do.
How you feel about that personally? What do you think happened to Kim Porter?
Well, personally,
Yeah.
I just can't believe that somebody that had the normal flu, that had doctors on speed dial, that they had enough money that they could get the half of the hospital to come to the house and take care of her, that she died of just pneumonia like that. And if you get that point where you can't breathe, and if you know you ever had a cold so bad, I had COVID and I couldn't breathe, but I still made it to the hospital on my own. I can't believe that she stayed in that house, laid in that house, and died like they said she died. So my personal opinion is that somebody needs to reopen that case, and there needs to be a person that can do an independent autopsy to tell us the truth about what really happened to Kim Porter. When I first heard of Puff violence towards women, and like I told you, I was told this and I heard this. You understand? I used to live right across the street from Eddie F. in Mount Vernon. That was Heavy D and the Boys DJ. Me and Eddie used to have conversations. I don't know, it was Eddie or his brother that told me. But I heard in our conversations that when Misa, he thought Misa was dealing with Eric Sermon, and he beat her so bad, she was trying to get away from him. She had to crawl up under the car. And at the time, Misa was a little something. That's the first time I heard of his violence with women. The second time was when I went to the hospital and Kim had ripped his wrist up. I told people he would do that whenever I was working with him. You know, he would act like that play fight with the pillows and everything, roughing the girls up like that. So if I didn't see nothing like, well, I wouldn't see it because they'd be in the room. But if she don't run out screaming and hollering, or I don't hear no help, ain't nothing I can do about it. But if she come out and she's in distress and he's trying to do something, I'm gonna do something about it.